This is Brackeys, and a few days ago he made this. Although this man, the legend himself, is the king of game dev teaching, this game is simply not good enough for me. So I took it upon myself to remake it from a junk simple game to the next soon to be viral retro-futuristic platformer. But jokes aside, Bracky's videos was very insightful for someone like me who never touched Godot, or any other game engine for that matter, with the exception of playing around with Unity a long time ago, but we don't talk about that engine here. So first thing on the list is basically doing everything that Bracky's covered in his video.
I think I'm about to steal!
This includes the player, the terrain, the platforms, the movement system, and the animation of all of this. I used this free pixel art tileset from itch.io. It had this industrial feel that I really like. As for the player, I picked this sci-fi looking dude with a ball and a chain, also from itch.io. I mean, just look how cool he is. Implementing all the other stuff was very easy, as Brackeys' tutorial was honestly very comprehensive and very easy to follow. Perhaps you have noticed I did not mention the enemy, and it's because I was simply not convinced with just making simple patrolling enemies. I wanted to make something a bit smarter, maybe something that can actually follow you around. I mean, how hard could that be?
In the business, we call this foreshadowing.
I started working on the enemies. I grabbed this free asset called Droid Zapper from, you guessed it, itch.io. God, I love itch.io. And boom, the enemy is up and running already. Not really.
What the fuck is this piece of shit?
You see, through this journey of making this game, I tried as much as possible to use my previous expertise in coding, but since I'm a web dev and web devs are not real devs, the results were not all that good. The logic I came up with is the following. A detection area that when the player enters, it detects him and the enemy, aka Zapper, starts to hit the direction of the player. And if the player enters a smaller area called the attack area, Zapper will proceed to attack the player and the player will be zapped and lose 20 health points unless he dodges the attack. Simple enough. Except it wasn't. Game devs use this thing called a state machine. Its job is basically keeping up with each entity's state. For example, my enemy here, Zapper, would have 3 states: idle, patrol, and attack. The state machine would take care after keeping track of what state Zapper is in and also entering and exiting each state. Stupid past me did not know that. So I tried to implement the same thing using a convoluted system mainly based on conditional statements. To say it didn't go well is another statement. From animation getting interrupted to animation getting stuck. It was a nightmare to debug. But with some persistence, I managed to make it kinda work. It wasn't perfect, but it was kinda okay. So after the next day. The logic behind the player is very similar, but with just removing the patrol in and also making it so the player can press a key to attack instead of attacking automatically, and adding a damage state when the player is damaged to decrease his health and play a damage animation and make him a bit slower. Since I already went through all the pain of setting up the enemy Zapper, which was very similar, so how hard could this be?
Are you stupid?
After a very lengthy debugging process and not so helpful suggestions from ChatGPT, I finally managed to make the player mechanics work, which was very cool to be honest. I mean, just look at this cute dude swinging his ball and chain, knocking back zappers. Really beautiful. I also added a damage state and animation for Zapper as well, and finally a death state and also animation for both the player and Zapper. Finally, I went back to polish my empty map. I tried to use the pipes in the tileset to make the level feel more full, and it kinda looks cool. I like it. Good job, old me. I also repurposed the platform and added some level borders to make sure the player doesn't just fall off the borders, and some camera limits since I honestly didn't feel like designing the part of the map you're not gonna really explore. Finally, I added some retro-futuristic music I got from YouTube and tried to add some glow to give the game that neon feel, but it turned out glow is Vulkan exclusive thing for some reason, and since my old ass PC didn't support it, I had to scrape it off, so at last, here's the final game. So, am I happy with this game? Kinda. I learned a lot while making this game. Even when I did things the wrong way, I learned why doing things that way is the wrong way. I had a blast making these little guys finally do what I want them to do. It was very satisfying. It was by no means perfect, but I'm okay with that. If you're in the same place as me and you're wondering if it's actually worth it to try this out and actually follow the tutorial, just let me tell you, it's gonna be hard, but it's gonna be totally worth it. So if you have that thought, please go ahead and make your not so shitty but not so great game just like me.